Hello lovelies, my name is Jkay. I'm so happy to have you join me on the TligReview Show today. And on TligReview Show, we bring your brand to the world's table and we also expose your businesses to the right audience. I have an amazing personality with me today, and that is Jennifer Oyubu. She is the popular Instagram. If you go on Instagram and you hear Naija brand influencer, this is the babe we're talking about. Hello Jennifer.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
If I don't say it, I will not do the show well today.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we will be talking about brand building and how it helps, gives SMEs that competitive edge.
All right.
So, what is brand building in the first place? Can you build a brand?
Of course.
Okay, tell us about it.
Building a brand is something that's, leaves your business in the minds of people.
Absolutely.
There's a difference between just trying to sell and then trying to build a brand. When you build a brand, it means that people are going to recognize you. People are going to have something they can always remember. This particular brand is good at this particular thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's one thing about building a brand. Very important.
Absolutely. Can you build a brand? There are people that they do a lot of things.
Yeah.
They can have 10 businesses.
Yeah.
How can they build their brands? Can you build 10 brands as a person?
Of course, there are people that have up to 100 businesses.
100 businesses?
And they build them individually.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very possible for you, just for you to have a structure, for you to be able to build those brands individually and then put your mind and remain focused to them, and definitely you'll be able to build a brand.
Brand building, is it
different
cheap
brands
or expensive?
Well, it depends on the platform. It depends on, because right now in social media they actually pushes lots of brands.
Absolutely.
And for you to be able to take your brand far, you will have to invest in it. You don't just sit down and cross your leg and then think that your brand is just going to go far without investing. You invest your time, you invest your resources, you invest everything you've got to make sure that your brand actually go far and does well. That's it.
Okay, so you can't say it's cheap, you can't say it's expensive. It just depends on what you want to achieve.
You can't say it depends on what you want to achieve. So, but if you want your brand to go far, you have to spend money. You see a lot of big brands you see today, if you ask them, they'll tell you they spent money on advertising for their brand to be known. So that's it. Do
you think that advertising has changed as social media has grown in the last few years? Yeah,
advertising has changed. Social media is now like everything now. It controls the world actually. It's like one part of the organs in our body. We can't do without social media. So advertising has actually changed with social media, and I think it's even cheaper to advertise on social media compared to the TV adverts and all
newspaper
or
now magazines.
Now people have the opportunity to showcase their goods and services on social media with just little resources. So I think, yeah, it's easier to advertise on social media compared to other medias.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just delve into the topic, which is brand building and how it gives SMEs the competitive edge. Okay, so what differentiates the brand you have built compared to the one that is just there?
Okay, what differentiates it is the work put into it.
Okay.
If you want a brand that has built, if you want to be like a brand that has built over time, you have to put in the work. You don't just sit down and say, okay, let me just relax and watch my brand grow. You have to put in the work. You have to be very focused. The first thing I always say is remain focused. As long as you're always focused to your goal, to your dreams, definitely you're going to be building a brand, not just a brand that is going to be recognized, a brand that is going to stick to the conscious mind of people, a brand that is going to, break even. So the first step is to remain focused to your dream. But if brand that is just coming up, they might have little bits of turbulences and all of that.
Absolutely.
Because it's not so easy to just start like that,
and then people will believe in you or believe in your brand.
You have to put in the work first before magic starts to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you advise someone who you know, when you start a new business and you just post pictures and post pictures, what advice will you give to someone who wants to build their brand? So we have people that maybe they just make bead in their house, something small, like, it's my talent, I just enjoy joining things together, and they want to move further. What advice would you give?
I would say, one, like I said, remain focused.
Yeah, focus. But
and
I'm saying social media moves.
On social media, once as a brand that just starts on social media, first of all, you have to think of creating good content, because that's what pushes your brand far.
Content.
If you don't create, it's called social media. Social media is a fun place. You know, aside that, you have to create content that will attract people to you, to visit your page, to see everything you say. There are some vendors that just, they're nonchalant about creating good content. They just want to post anything. Like you see some of them putting pictures and products on the bare floor to snap on people. Yeah, you're selling food, for example, and you're just you're taking a picture of something that looks really disgusting, and you want people to buy. You know, food is something that when people see it, especially those that are hungry, they want to order it immediately. Yes. So you have to put in so much effort in building good content to be able to attract people to you as a brand that is just starting. So after building good content, you have to now think about DM marketing, like going to your target audience, pitching your goods and services to them, and see how you can draw them to visit your page. Then after doing that, then you can now think of advertising. Sponsored adverts, for example, on social media actually brings your niche to you. It brings your target audience to you, and then you start seeing the traffic. You start seeing people making orders. It's like that. Okay,
so how effective is influencers when it comes to putting your product out there?
Okay, the people always ask me this, like what you just asked me now. The difference between influencing and social sponsored adverts is there are two different things. Influencer marketing, it's something that, because when you advertise on an influencer's page, it actually makes people trust your brand more.
Wow. And it brings trust.
It brings trust. And aside that, the more an influencer talk about your brand, the more it sticks to the conscious mind of people. You know,
and that is your target. You want to be in the mind of people.
So if you think there are some brands, I don't want to call them, but I'm sure you know them. You see a lot of influencers, big celebrities talking about these particular brands, and then you might not have patronized them, but you know the name. So it actually makes your name popular. It actually makes people trust you and make people stick to you. Very important.
Okay. Yeah. What about scenarios where someone tells you, okay, I went on Instagram, I saw this influencer that has thousands of followers, but not buying followers. So sometimes you use an influencer, but you don't get buyers. Is it just sometimes you could just use them because you want to be known?
Okay, you don't just use anyhow.
Exactly, because you can't just spend money and not get money.
You use an influencer that you know has power to draw the audience to actually buy. You know, when people love you and then you advertise for brand, because people love you and they trust, okay, for this person to advertise this product it means that it's really authentic. So since it's coming from this influencer, let me patronize this person. That's how it is.
So the influencer's integrity can actually influence your buyers to buy.
Yes, it can. Actually, influencers are not just anyhow kind of influencer. Influencers that have power. What I mean by have power, there are some influencers that can post and say, do this. They have control, followers, and you see their followers actually trooping in to do it because they love them and they believe that they have, for the influencers to talk about them, that means
they have integrity.
They have integrity.
Okay, so that means there's a possibility that you can actually use an influencer that will not influence anything.
Yes, you just
are they on Instagram?
A lot of them. Those that bought followers, yes. Those that are not
that grew followers organically.
Organically is different. You will know a lot of it. Once you go visit the page, you would know a genuine and a good influencer that has control, that has power over their audience. You would know. So you don't, before you do that, you have to first investigate, check through the page, check through the comments to see if they are genuine, check through the followers, then you're good to go.
Okay, I want to know if the influencing thing, is it streamlined? Are there influencers that you use for certain brands, or you can say, okay, for real estate there are these people that you pick, for beauty products you have to pick this influencer, for clothing, does that determine the kind of influencer that you use?
Of course.
Please tell me about
every influencer have a niche. They have a particular people that follow them. So for I don't can I call a name?
No, you can't call it.
For someone like James Brown, there are certain kind of products that you can give to him that is going to, you know, pull lots of people to buy.
Okay.
You know, and there are some kind of products you can't give to him, or services you can't give to him to advertise, because those are not.
He doesn't
his
have
niche.
that kind of audience.
When it comes to aphrodisiacs, people like Jane Mena, because she twerks, fine, she has a niche for that.
She's in that line.
She's in that line of aphrodisiac, sexual products, and all of that. So you have to look, like I myself, I'm a business influencer. So if you want, for example, you're an e-commerce company, you want business owners to sign up, you want serious corporate people, yeah, my niche is that. So it all depends on the niche. You can't compare an influencer that does giveaway, for example. The audience is just all about giveaway.
Just give me.
People that just want to collect, and they have lots of followers, and then you go to their page to advertise, you will get nothing, because their follower has nothing to. They are
not buying followers.
They are not buying followers. So it all depends. Every influencer with their individual niches.
Okay, how about your own?
My business, I have business. I have
strength.
Lots of business strength. My niche is business owners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like CEOs,
entrepreneurs, SMEs, and all of that. Those are my kind of audience.
Okay. Let's talk about you now that we are talking about you.
Yeah.
How did you start it? Did you just wake up one day and say, and you just heard a voice, you are an influencer, go for it? Or you started from somewhere? Tell us your story.
I started from somewhere back then, 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've always had that dream to be someone that is known on social media. I had to follow some of my competitors, you know, to check what they're doing.
How they're doing.
From time to time, I made lots of mistakes. You know, it wasn't easy to like get there until I got to learn. You know, as time goes on, you get to learn and how to better yourself.
Sure.
Yeah. Back then, it wasn't that. I wasn't even someone that was relevant. Like I spoke about building a brand. At the initial stage, it's not always rosy. You might get discouraged. I got lots of. As of that time, I was working for a particular company. As I was going to work alongside.
You were employed.
I was employed.
So your influencing thing was just like a side hustle.
Side hustle. I worked there for like 3 years before I decided to like break out.
Say, let me do this thing full time. When the money started coming in dollars.
Yeah. When I saw that I could stand on my own, I was like, okay, it is time for me to build my own brand.
Okay.
And then I resigned in 2020. I think my brand started becoming really, you know, known. It became very strong as of towards the ending of 2020, and
that's during the lockdown.
During the lockdown, I think the lockdown was actually
a blessing to your brand.
Yes, because I took advantage of it. That was a time to actually break even, because a lot of people were home and they were on their phones.
Everybody was on
because
their phone.
If you didn't get it that time, it might not happen again.
It was like an opportunity.
It was an opportunity. A lot of people that did well, even on TikTok, you see a lot of influencers are doing so well. They took advantage of the opportunity, and then, you know, they became bigger brands.
Okay, there's this impression that people have that, you know, people became influencers because they have no job. So is it like that sometimes?
Well, it can be like that to some people. It's not a bad thing.
So they be like, everybody is now an influencer. They don't want to go and look for work.
You don't want to wait for the government. You don't want to wait for the government. You don't want to wait for, you know, it's not easy getting a job.
Yes, in
our society today. Paying job in our society today, even with a master's degree, you still see someone paying you as low as 50,000 naira. So you have to carve a niche for yourself. And then everything is about survival and making it. So you just have to. There's nothing wrong about influencing.
Yeah, nothing
so much
is wrong
money.
with influencing.
There's so much money.
That's what I wanted to ask. Is influencing paying?
It pays well. When I see people tell me, how did this influencer build a house? I was like, are you for real? There's so much money on social media. So much money. Even as a micro-influencer, your earning is not less than 600,000 naira monthly.
Monthly?
Yes.
Wow, that is good to hear.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we see stories where influencers come online and be like, okay, so this person paid me for a job. I did a job. Now the person is saying I should do another video. What do you have to say about these things? What are these the kind of challenges that you guys face? You know, when you get paid to advertise something or influence for a brand, and then the brand calls you out. Have you ever been
called out?
Yeah.
I've never been dragged. I've never, because my jobs are usually clean. That's why they call me the IG goddess.
IG goddess. Say,
the IG goddess. When you come to me, when you come to me and say, okay, I want you to put your hands in my business, you know, as a startup, I usually do the magic. So it's more of reviews rather than compliance. Definitely, not everybody will get satisfied, but out of 100%, 80% of people that come to me usually make lots of sales on Instagram. That's just it.
Wow, that's good to hear. All right, so what are the major challenges as an influencer? What challenges you that you now start having a dig that, God, I don't want to go online today?
It's not easy creating content. People be like, it's not just, you're just an influencer. It's not a job. Well, influencing is not easy because you live by creating content every day for your audience. Because any day you stop creating content, people are forgetting you. There are lots of other
losing your value.
So you have to from time to time create content, consistency. You have to create content so that you can hold your audience. Your audience can still find you interesting. If not, they'll forget you and go somewhere else. And you'll be wondering, how come maybe the day you decide to come back online, you see that your visibility has dropped, no much engagement, your reach is low, because there's a way Instagram calculates their algorithm.
Yes.
If you stay off social media for a while, you don't create content, you're
not functioning, so things will drop.
It will drop. So you have to keep creating content back to back to be able to stay relevant. Okay,
so like I said, what causes the dragging on social media between brands and influencers?
Well, maybe those that they paid an influencer to do a particular job and they did not do it, or probably they did not get
so results. Do you guys sign contracts?
It depends. If it's a brand ambassadorship deal, you have to sign contracts. But if it's just a normal influencing,
like just help me talk about this thing,
you don't sign any contract with anybody for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
You just tell them how much you want and then they
pay for it. Yeah.
Okay, so do you charge per post or how do you do it?
Yeah, for a video you charge per just talking about your brand.
Talking about a brand on a video?
On a video, yes.
You guys are cashing out. Yeah. Okay, is there anybody that regulates influencing in Nigeria? Like, do you guys have an association or anything?
None that I've heard of.
Presently.
We don't have anybody, but it's going to be a very good idea.
Like, I'm throwing it to you now,
since you are the goddess. Since we have Nollywood.
Yeah, they come together, they have associations.
I think we need an association so that we can be recognized
because
as well.
The influencing market is a huge
It's
place, yeah.
It's huge. Skit makers are influencers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even actors and
they're all delving into influencing.
Yeah, so I think we should have a body. It's a good idea.
Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, you're still watching the TligReview Review Show on TligReview Africa TV. I've been talking to the goddess herself, Naija brand influencer. From now henceforth, I'm using this opportunity to announce that I'm going into influencing full time, all right? Okay, so before we end the show, what would you like to say to those that are listening to us concerning branding? Why you need to build your brand? Tell them that final word.
Well, social media, as you can see, has taken over the world.
Take
advantage of it. A lot of people care about what people say. They don't put food on your table.
True.
You know what it means to carry your business on your head? Like, your life depends on it. That's how you build your brand. And remain focused, because by the time your brand start getting recognized, trust me, you're going to enjoy it. Imagine making money every day on social media, and social media can give you that everyday income. Trust me, you just have to take advantage of social media and then build your brand on it. That's all I have to say. All right, guys, you just heard it from the goddess herself. She said take advantage of social media right now, because social media is bringing millions and billions to a lot of people. Thank you guys for being a part of today's TligReview Review Show. I hope that you join me next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye. Bye.